りあえず仕方ないわ。過ちを償いなさい。
You are cleared to enter.
But I'm your friend, Zana. You can't do this.
You have your orders. Best get to it.
No!
Come now, don't you love your mistress? You wouldn't want to upset her, would you? Do as we say, and Matari will cherish you forever.
What? This is an order from Atari?
Of course. All orders are.
But my students, they're not ready.
We'll decide that. Now go. Let them know.
I can't believe you're okay with this, Zana. You've changed.
No, Kathy.
Come, we're done here.
Nothing?
Afraid not.
Yesenia hasn't heard anything from her scouts.
They couldn't have all just died, right? I mean, there's no way.
Don't worry. It's probably just part of the operation. Well, if it is, they should have at least had the decency to tell us instead of forcing us to worry.
Want to take that up with Command?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, neither do I.
Hey, been a while, hasn't it? The disappearance of our sisters on the field. You mean you don't know? This just gets weirder and weirder. The Golden Maidens announced they were taking preliminary measures for our final battle with Purity at Innocence. The details are pretty sketchy. All we know is that soon after they announced the operation, we lost contact with all of our students around Skyrim. No messages, no sightings, now the scouts have gone missing. Either this is part of a secret plan, or we just went dark. Maybe both. But how would that make any sense? Whoa, that's... So maybe this is planned after all. But what in the world does that do to help us? We can't leave this palace undefended, you know. Purity knows we're here. They can strike at any moment. If it's all right, can you let me know what she says about our sisters? We don't want to be too inquisitive with the maidens. They're busy.
Once you stop believing in Matari, this whole thing falls apart. We must stay strong and have faith.
Any news?
早く着かないかな。
Ah, what a riot. Sure I do, but I'm not spoiling the surprise. Why don't you go grab your next mission from Matari like the good hero you are? We have some old friends coming over.
But I'm your friend, Zana. You can't do this.
You have your orders. Best get to it.
No!
Come now. Don't you love your mistress? You wouldn't want to upset her, would you? Do as we say, and Matari will cherish you forever.
What? This is an order from Atari?
Of course. All orders are.
But my students, they're not ready.
We'll decide that. Now go. Let them know.
I can't believe you're okay with this, Zana. You've changed.
No, Kathy.
Come, we're done here.
Nothing?
Afraid not.
Yesenia hasn't heard anything from her scouts.
They couldn't have all just died, right? I mean, there's no way.
Don't worry. It's probably just part of the operation.
Well, if it is, they should have at least had the decency to tell us instead of forcing us to worry.
Want to take that up with Command?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, neither do I.
Hey, been a while, hasn't it? The disappearance of our sisters on the field. You mean you don't know? This just gets weirder and weirder. The Golden Maidens announced they were taking preliminary measures for our final battle with Purity at Innocence. The details are pretty sketchy. All we know is that soon after they announced the operation, we lost contact with all of our students around Skyrim. No messages, no sightings, now the scouts have gone missing. Either this is part of a secret plan, or we just went dark. Maybe both. But how would that make any sense? Whoa, that's... So maybe this is planned after all. But what in the world does that do to help us? We can't leave this palace undefended, you know. Purity knows we're here. They can strike at any moment. If it's all right, can you let me know what she says about our sisters? We don't want to be too inquisitive with the maidens. They're busy.
Any news?
Once you stop believing in Matari, this whole thing falls apart. We must stay strong and have faith.
Ah, what a riot. Sure I do, but I'm not spoiling the surprise. Why don't you go grab your next mission from Matari like the good hero you are? We have some old friends coming over.
That should do it.
Not so fast. You have my package.
Really, ma'am? Thought you'd given it up along with the local stuff.
One advice at a time. Hand it over, Kadesh.
Fine, fine. Don't use it all up in one night. I can't have Cordonali be your personal supplier.
Enough. We make the rules, not you.
Just heard about your last mission. Terrible thing to be held for ransom. Lucky for you, the Maidens were there to help. Elda just came by to tell me the operation to secure the vessel was a success. Not a single sister was harmed. Few ship hands, couple of armed pirates, and their modest bounty of stolen goods. Cordonali has the ship now, but she unloaded a few goods that we found useful. Along with this. It is. Came with an odd little note written by its original owner. The stone's called the Heart of Infinity, a key to unlocking the secrets about one who will save us all in Apocrypha. I'm not a fan of Daedric relics, so if you don't mind, can you take it off my hands? Anyone else and it would eventually end up in Freya's pockets. Have fun.
I must attend to my students. Perhaps later.
I'm sorry, everyone. I failed.
Have they not said why we're all leaving?
Only that you're going to Solitude for a covert mission. I don't understand why they need all of you.
Don't worry, Mistress Cat. We will defend ourselves with valor. Your teachings have been most helpful.
Thank you, friends. You're the finest students I've had in a long time. I know that all of you working together will spread more happiness throughout the world than one sister can on her own. Let Purity and the heroes know the true meaning of the word courage. Vanquish the oppressors. Come home soon and safe. Peace and Matari's blessings upon you. I hope I see them again. It's so easy for me to put on a smile. I didn't want to tell them about the other sirens that have suddenly gone missing. Something is going on, Commander. I'm scared. And sad. I'm never like this. I hope this war is over soon. I just want everyone to be happy. I want peace.
응. どこへ行くの？早く着かないかな。どこ？早く着かないかな。ん？
The mistress would most certainly like to speak to you. There have been some developments since our mission. The mistress would most certainly like to speak to you. There have been some developments since our mission.
The echo of the void is oblivion. The echo of oblivion is now more... Oh, it's so nice to see you again. I'll leave you two alone.
You've returned. A reminder of what I'm fighting for. Yes, I do. You may have heard murmurs in the halls regarding the sudden disappearance of our sirens across Skyrim. There is nothing to fear. They have all been recalled under my orders. Captain Denali is participating in this classified operation. I ask that you do not discuss this with anyone else, including the instructors. Our communication with the outside world has been completely severed, a necessary sacrifice for what is to come. The pool of able warriors to defend the palace has been greatly diminished. You and I will lead in the event of an attack. Since the attack on Jonestead, the possibility of an attack has never subsided. Purity knows of our headquarters. The removal of all sirens from their posts will make the palace an enticing target. That is why I have ceased all siren operations in Cyrodiil and have already ordered for their immediate transfer to Euphoria Palace. Purity has long since been eradicated from Cyrodiil. There is no longer a threat of our war spilling across the borders of Tamriel as it did when the Cleansers fought under the command of the Pindars. Our last battle with Purity will be here in Skyrim. No skeleton crew will remain in the Cyrodiil headquarters. As of this moment, all but the arriving sirens are where they need to be. Traversing the Cyrodiil Skyrim border via an underground tunnel southeast of Falkreath. This is your mission. Go to this tunnel and ensure their safe passage. You will likely encounter hostile vagrants and smugglers. Be armed and ready to fight within the tight confines of the cavern. My final order before the communication blackout was to have Lilith and her team await your arrival at the tunnel entrance. Unfortunately, Lilith has gone missing. Only the sirens known as Malene and Samantha will accompany you. We do not know. Lilith is a habitual deserter of her comrades. It was Trisha's decision to include you in her team. For that you have my apology. Lilith will be reprimanded accordingly if and when she returns. Do so. And Commander, try not to waste your time exploring dwarven ruins. You will not find answers amongst the dead. You smell of oil.
Defend her while you can. Those...
そろそろ行ったら どこ？どこ？
Great to have you back in action, ma'am.
Yeah, unlike Lilith. Where is she anyway?
Ready to kick off the welcoming party? Ready your blades. Bound to be some scoundrels roaming around.
What are we waiting for? Let's move. Let's not stay in one place for too long. Glad you asked. Malene would say I'm a walking library.
Don't flatter yourself.
Right in the middle of the Draw Mountain Range, specifically next to the legendary Pale Pass. When the Akaviri invaded Tamriel in the First Era, they captured an Imperial fortress in the area. It wound up being a big mistake. Low on supplies, they failed to hold onto it for long. Some say they still wander the fortress, patrolling the halls and waiting for reinforcements. If we're lucky, the recent avalanches might have spilled a few undead warriors onto our end. I'd like to test my mettle against my ancestors and give them the fight they've craved for centuries. And, of course, to show Malene a thing or two about respect. During the Great War, you would get a few well-meaning refugees coming through here. These days, it's fallen into the hands of bandits and smugglers. I see no reason why anyone would bother using it unless they're desperate. Or ordered by Mistress Matari. It's no secret that the Empire has been clamping down on illegal immigrants from Cyrodiil lately. Too risky for our sisters to try the traditional method of walking in plain sight and dodging Imperial scout patrols. Sure thing. Right behind you, boss.
This should be a straight run to the other end. Nothing fancy. Only that Talia is among them, transporting them to their classified destination. Doubt we'll learn anything until she gets back. That she's wandering around Skyrim taking care of personal business. It's been happening since Pazarath. She's going to get chewed out by the Maidens if she keeps it up. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at Bandit Leader while we're at it.
You prepared to die?
That should do it.
Now we wait. Sinium's sister, what's wrong?
Stand aside, we have wounded coming in.
Take defensive position. They will not take another life this day. Do you hear me?
you! Over here!
Can't hide from
Take care of that?
What the bloody hell happened to her?
Shrapnel wounds from the explosives. Got her lungs good.
Juno, take care of her. Who is the commanding officer here? Step forward. No surprise you're the commander. Your companions have the faces of famished pups. Not just of Cyrodiil, it seems. But we'll get to that later. My patience runs thin. I want some answers as to why your mistress knowingly and willingly sent us into a hot zone. Oh, really? Well then, I'll have to ask her myself why 25 sirens had to die here today. Either because of her incompetence or because of her perfidious schemes.
Hey, you can't say that about the mistress. You just can't.
She's right. It isn't wise.
I wasn't speaking to either of you. But since your kind is so loyal, so submissive, you won't mind following my orders for the duration of this mission. Juno, Karzak, Scribonia, you three take the two Ashen and defend the northern entrance. This commander and I will hold the line.
As you wish, Yunara. Move it. Now!
Stand your ground. We will regroup with the others once we've made a large enough dent in their forces to get us out of here alive.
Meh.
This is it. Here they come!
What was that? Over here!
Another way to send them packing.
Is someone there? Ah, found Dora, curse you!
知らない。
Is that it? We're done here. Impressive work, Simon. You may walk among seducers, but you are a warrior. Now follow. We will regroup with the others and leave this blasted tunnel.
We meet again, Commander. It's too late for that. Lines have been drawn, and Purity wants nothing to do with you after Pazaraf. You're on your own. But that doesn't mean I can't help you. I'm here to warn you about something. Something big. Purity hasn't said anything, but it won't be too long before they show us all what they've been working on. Have the Sirens told you about the Westworld massacre that happened almost 50 years ago? The Pinder family was almost wiped out that day after returning from the Black Marsh. No one except Purity knows what caused them to go rampant. I have a feeling we're about to see the cause. Here, a log from a Purity alchemist working on our mystery project. All the details are there. A history. Blackwood Company. History's about to repeat itself, and I might be the only one who can stop it. Of course. And he expected me to use it. Purity is getting desperate to stop your sirens. We all are, but this is too far. What could justify mass murder in place of defeat? You're only following in my footsteps. You and the sirens will find nothing at the end of that road, because I already have it. But if you're referring to the cryptic tablets, we're both lost. Purity is tight-lipped about what the Dwemer were referring to. I'd guess Matari is too. It's time for me to play with fire. Commander, no matter what happens, remember what I'm fighting for, and stay out of my way. I don't want to kill you if I don't have to, but things have changed. The only way that we can save this world now is if we do what must be done. I'm going to destroy innocence, but to do that, I need to make a sacrifice. The next time you see me, I'll be with Purity. Then I'll have to kill you, else I lose my cover. Between you and Nirn, I choose the latter. What good is a hero if there's no world to save? That's enough for today. You've led the rats out of their maze, and I've wasted enough men chasing them. All we can do is wait and pray to whatever gods are watching over us, for the strength to do what comes next. If we both get out of this war alive, you'll know where to find me. Skies divide. A solution to all of our problems. All roads lead there. But whether you arrive as an ally or enemy will all depend on what happens next. Goodbye, Commander.
Is that who I think it is?
The leader of the heroes himself, Bosca. Poor bastard was just as deluded as the rest of his family. Outstanding work. Master Marcus's death has been avenged.
Wait, someone's coming.
No. No. You killed us. You killed us all. He was the only one who stood between Purity and our brotherhood. Gods help us. We're all that's left. Spare us. At least give him the right to be buried.
Are we going to just let them get away?
They've suffered enough. Look at them.
Mercy. The same mercy they showed to my sisters when we arrived. Don't be absurd. Commander, make the first move. Do not listen to this cowardly Ash.
You made the right decision, man.
Fools coddle their enemies. Very good.
どこへ行くの？
Retrieve your gear and prepare to move out. Ashen, return to your designated posts. I find the commander to be a more fitting escort to the palace. We may speak outside.
寒くなる。
I suppose we have a minute. We are humble servants of the Pinder family. Our personal histories are kept to ourselves. But like all true warriors, life doesn't begin until you've held your first blade. The rest of the Sirens of Cyrodiil. The heroes had the high ground as we trudged through the valley. We were completely outnumbered. Matari promised safe passage, and look what she got us into. You call her a capable leader? Marcus would be ashamed if he was still alive. I suppose we have a minute. Who is this Matari? Where was she when the Sirens called Cyrodiil home? Away in Arcavia collecting ashen slaves? To learn that she had become the new leader of the Sirens on top of Marcus's death was revolting. Make no mistake, Siren. Matari's rise to power is not by chance. The corpses piling at her feet are due in part to carefully orchestrated maneuvers. I thought you might. You do not have the glazed eyes of your ashen companions. Are there others like you? If so, why hasn't anyone spoken out? Allow me to be the first. When we enter the Euphoria Palace, Matari will give us our answers. With honor. A look into their history reveals a tragedy of murder and woe. There are families all over Tamriel that cry out for help. No matter how hard you try, you can't save them all, but the Pinders. And they mounted an army out of nothing but the sheer will to survive. You can't save them all, but I'd be damned if I didn't try. It's a palace buried deep beneath the ground near the Cyrodiil-Valenwood border, east of Skingrad, in what is known as the West Weald region. A long time ago, it served as a brothel, much like Euphoria, and was owned by a Purity-funded warlord known as Desun. When he perished at the turn of the era, the palace was abandoned. That is, until the Pinders claimed it for their own use. For over 100 years, it has served as the staging grounds for the Pinder family's war with Purity, first under the control of the Cleansers, and then Serenity's Sirens. There was a major transfer to Euphoria 10 years ago when Purity activity was detected here in Skyrim. Only a few of us remained at the Cyrodiil Palace. The weaklings in the eyes of Matari, apparently. No Ashen, just men and myrrh. The predecessors of the Sirens, founded in 77 by Martin Pinder, son of Lucy and the Ascended One. They were valiant knights in lieu of the Fighters Guild. Just as the Sirens maintained themselves through secondary contracts, so did they. But fighting in the name of the Pinder family came first.
They lived a good lifespan, 78 years. From Morrowind to High Rock, they held a bloody war with Purity when they still had the gall to fight out in the open. Then the Westweald massacre happened. Matari never told you. No surprise that you want the Sirens to forget the great disaster that brought us here today. If you have the time, read this book. It may be from a regular guardsman from Skingrad, but he knows as much as we do. Only a Pinder would know. Like the Holy Matrons, Master Marcus never spoke of him. The timing of the One's disappearance raises a few questions that we may never get answered. Did he die, or did he abandon the family he created? Early Pinder history is filled with sexual promiscuity brought on by Purity's accursed Eros sap and the Matrons. A part of me doesn't want to know the truth. That there is little to be said about her and her more implied affiliations? Could it be possible that she never died and is still in this fabled land of the Matrons? The Matrons may have served the Pinders in the previous century, but their absence today begs the question if they ever truly cared for them at all. If Faustina is still alive in some shape or form, I wonder if she even calls herself a Pinder. Certainly.
You there, citizen. This area is off limits. You're interfering with Imperial business. Yeah, so you'll have to pay us a fine. Say, 100 gold. Pay up, citizen. Well, in that case, you'll have to hand over your life as well as your coin.
Please don't kill me.
the last of them.
ごめんなさい。
I suppose we have a minute.
変な気を起こさないでよ。
You are clear to enter.